What's up, my dudes? Back at it again, baby. So, I wanted to come in here and kind of talk about this new official Monster Energy Supercross game. I know a lot of you guys have this weird idea in your head that I've got this sort of milestone hate and I can never love a milestone motocross game and all I ever do is hate on every single milestone motocross game and they can never please me and it can never be good enough and, all that kind of random crap, right, that I've been getting over the past 3 or 4 years of giving, quite harsh rants on these milestone games. But it's funny now, isn't it funny now, how they really start to seem to be improving on the in-air physics and the inertia and the free whip side of it and all that kind of stuff. And, wouldn't you think if I was actually a milestone hater, I would still be coming out here hating on that, right? Like, if I was truly this milestone hater or this I could never love a milestone motocross game or I'm an official Supercross game hater or whatever, and I'm just a MX Simulator fanboy, right? If I was truly that, there would be no possibility for me to ever come in here and say something positive about these milestone games. And what have I been saying ever since they came out with that little gameplay on that new Supercross 3's physics on their Instagram? Damn near everything in that video I said was positive. One day you idiots are going to wake up and realize it's not this hater mentality. It's not this you can never please me milestone. It's this I'm just telling it like it is. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. Whether I think that's good in a motocross game or bad in a motocross game or god-awful or terrible or decent or in between or neutral or it doesn't matter. There is no, it's not like the past 2 years I've been out here hating on Milestone just because I don't like Milestone and I'm like, all I can ever accept is MX versus ATV or MX Simulator. You guys are so far off. It's actually sad. Some of you guys that have had that in your head over the past 2-3 years, it is sad. I'm just telling you. Now you're all being proven wrong because I'm coming out here saying, damn, Milestone, look at these new physics you got going, talking about actually having some inertia to the bike and the movement and the, actually opening up the free whip system because if you know these Milestone games, they have literally had the most restrictive, basic, hit a button, play an animation, error physics I have ever seen before. I'm being dead serious. I mean, there's times where I can literally go back and play like MX versus ATV Unleashed or Untamed, and it feels better because in the air, because, I got to make that really clear. I'm talking specifically air physics right now, right? Which is a big part to motocross games, especially a Supercross game where you're in the air 90% of the time, right? But still yet, it just plays such a pivotal part in the jumping and scrubbing and movement and the ground and the air physics kind of play together and vice versa. They really are they meld into one thing and become the entire motocross game's physics. So if you have decent ground physics, which the Milestone games have always had okay ground physics, but then you have god-awful, terrible, restrictive, I don't even know how to explain it. Like these Milestone games in the air have had this super, horizontal linear lock. I literally don't even know how to explain it. It's like there is zero freeness when you come off of a jump face on these Milestone games. Absolutely zero. And if you want to actually try to do a whip, you're literally just hitting a button and it's playing an animation. That's all it's doing. It's playing the same animation over and over and over. I know with, let's see, it would have been like maybe Supercross 2. They started trying to, free that up a little bit to where it wasn't so basic. But even in the first Supercross game and even a little further back from that, all the other games back from that still had that weird same, it's so not like a modern-day motocross game whatsoever, right? It's just not... Modern-day motocross games should not have that restrictive, locked on the axis. You can't actually... There's no sort of rotate up under the bike. You understand what I'm saying? There's no sort of get up under the bike, lean under the bike, scrub up over the bike, do a turn up, turn down, turn sideways. All you really have is that standard fling the ass end out to the side, like that, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't even, by God, I feel like some of these MXGP3 whips look better than some of their modern game whips, but And then it's just so beyond unacceptable for a game in 2019, AAA full price game. It's just like, dude, you can't be doing that. So either way, that's my whole point, though. All you guys thinking I'm just like this milestone hater. They can never get it, right for me. Oh my gosh, I can just never accept anything. I'm just such a hater. All I do is complain. And, people kind of start going down that road. And if they would just think for 2.5 seconds, if these milestone games would just actually improve on their issues, then I would come out here and say it and say how good it is and give them the credit. But they don't improve on their issues. That's the whole point. And if they do improve on their issues, it's like maybe a 15% improvement, maybe. And it's just the repetitive over and over, game after game. So now that we've seen some of this early gameplay on Supercross 3 and the physics, little clip on their Instagram and all that. If you haven't seen that already, go look at that. It should be still their latest little Instagram video. It's just Supercross, the official video game on Instagram. And they've got the video kind of showcasing the physics. And dude, it's like finally. If I was such this milestone hater and just couldn't accept it, I still would have hated on that. I'd have been like, oh no, that looks so terrible. Oh God, no, guys, this is going to be terrible. The game's still going to be terrible. No, I'm not saying that, because I actually think they're starting to learn and improve and realize how important it is to have a free in-air physics and an inertia system to a motocross game. Therefore, I go in there and talk about how good it is, and then it's like, and then half the milestone fans are pissed about it because they don't like these new physics. They want to go back to the first Supercross games physics. Like, I'm about to start calling you motherfuckers milestone haters. You give you a little taste of your own damn medicine that you've been giving me for the past 3 or 4 years. Now that you're all like, just go back to the first Supercross game physics. Those physics look terrible. It's going to be terrible. You just a milestone hater. What are you doing, dog? Spency boy's out here, a milestone fanboy. Now you're a milestone hater. Oh, God, that sucks, doesn't it? Oh, man. Wow. Yikes. That's a big yikes, boys. It's just like, God, anytime you disagree with anything, people constantly just instantly want to get this, oh, you're just a hater. Oh, we're going to, that like cancel culture, you're a hater. You can't just have a negative opinion on something and then that's just okay. Like, no, you can't do that, guys. Nope. You're instantly classified as a hater, and all the things I've said negative about MX Simulator, all the things I've said negative about RF. I guess now I'm an MX Simulator hater. Now I'm an RF hater. It's just gotta love the world of the modern day internet era where you say anything negative, even remotely, and you're just instantly classified as an absolute hater of that game, and they can never please you, and you're never going to be happy, and all you ever do is complain. And oh man, it's just so funny. Like, if I would have gotten into YouTube back whenever Reflex was first starting to come out and come around, and back when motocross gaming was at a higher level back then, you wouldn't have seen nowhere near the rant videos. You wouldn't have seen it. You just wouldn't have. And if it would have been back in the days when MX Simulator was really doing good, like between 2012 and 2016, 2017, if I'd have really started my YouTube back then, you wouldn't have seen nowhere near the rant videos. It's because things have just went to shit in the past 2 or 3 years on everything. Motocross gaming, RF, and MX Simulator. A lot of things just truly have went to crap, dude. And I'm not just going to sit here and lie about it and fib about it and act like everything's just all dandy. Oh yeah, man, it's all good. Everything's just all good. But I will say this. I think in the next year or two, everything's going to start going, the pendulum's going to swing back in the positive direction, because I think everything's going to get better in the next year or two. I think the next MX versus ATV game is going to be a lot better than it has been. All Out was a stepping stone after being in all the, MX versus ATV Supercross crap. That was the bottom of the barrel. That was the lowest of the low for MX versus ATV, but then they came out, the MX versus ATV Supercross wasn't quite to the level of Reflex, still needed quite a bit of, work to it, but I think their next MX versus ATV game is going to be pretty good. I think the next milestone games in the next, 2 or 3 years are going to be a lot better than what we've had previously, because I think they're finally learning their lesson on a lot of things. I think that RF is going to learn some lessons and get a lot better in the next year or two. And, possibly make a road so light you can barely even see it, or really improve on it, or do something massive to where it's not the trash we've had the past 2 years and the lag and everything else from it. I just really think the entire motocross gaming community and racing and culture and all of that, whether it be simulators or arcade games, I think it's all going in a better direction. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I feel like back when Reflex was out and really popping off, and the custom tracks really popping off, and you had the heydays of the MX Simulator Pro Racing before all these, Milestones games and stuff came out, that was a really awesome time for motocross gaming. And then over the past 4 or 5 years, it's just all kind of went downhill. 3 or 4 years, not 4 or 5, more like 2, 3 years, something like that. Everything's kind of went downhill, and I think, like I'm saying, I think that pendulum's going to swing back the other direction. Everything's going to go really good again. I think Milestone's really going to start putting in more effort. The next MX versus ATV game's got to be better than All Out. And if it's better than All Out, then it's going to be a pretty solid-ass game. And if RF gets better, I don't know. I got the sneaking suspicion everything's going to get better in the next year or two. I could be totally wrong, but I just kind of get that vibe that I'm not going to have to be Mr. Spencer Turley rant your head off. Like, I won't have to do that, because they'll actually start doing what they're supposed to do and putting the content in games they're supposed to put in the games and giving you what you deserve, or a AAA prize motocross game, really actually working on the physics, not giving you these completely 2-decade-old outdated motocross physics in a game, and really improving on things, and RF really understanding and learning how bad the erode has been the past 2 years, and really figuring out a way to do that properly, or just, totally cut it off, something to make the racing experience better. Like, I really think they're going to start getting their stuff together. All of these motocross games, I really think it's going to start going in a cool area. And then once it does, you won't be seeing rants from me. You won't be seeing complaining videos from me, because everything will be what I feel like is decent, what I feel like is acceptable and okay, and what it should be. But when it's not like that, and everything's just kind of spitting in the face of what it was at one point, or it's just not to that standard, or that just decency level, or that just what you would expect in a game or a professional racing organization or whatever it is, then I'm going to come out here and tell you what I disagree with about it and what I don't like about it. But people get that all twisted in their head like I'm just over here complaining. It's really just been the motocross gaming, entire realm has just been shit for the past 2 or 3 years. That's really just the honest to goodness truth. It's just been shit. It's been terrible, man. The MX vs. ATV series went in the crap hole with MX vs. ATV Supercross. These milestone games just still ain't really got it figured out. RF completely shuts down, then comes back, but still has all this crazy erode and lag and all this other stuff and unprofessionalism, everything else. And so, dude, I'm just telling you what's on my mind. There ain't no, I'm just out here to hate or complain to complain, or I'm just telling you what it is. I'm telling you my opinions on whatever's going on at that current point in time, whether it be positive, negative, neutral, whatever. It doesn't matter. See, you guys get that in your head that I'm just being negative to be negative, or I'm hating to hate, and it's not like that. If they start improving, if they start doing better, really start doing what they should do, I'll come out here and give them all the credit they deserve. And that's what I'm doing with the milestone games and that newer little physics video that they have. I come out and say, yes, milestone, yes, thank God. Like, if I was truly deep down a milestone hater, I wouldn't even be capable of speaking that positively on a milestone game. You see what I'm saying? That wouldn't even be possible. But oh no, Spencer Turley, he's a Supercross game hater. He just hates all those milestone games. They can never make a game good enough for Pincher. They can't do it. Oh man, this world never ceases to amaze me, bro. It's sad that people get that sort of mentality. It's sad. It really is, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So either way, I don't know. It seems like all these milestone fans, this is like the most scattered and clustered. I don't even know how to explain what's going on with the milestone fans right now. You got a bunch of people thinking that like MXGP3 is like the way they need to go, and it was a lot better than what they've been doing. You got a bunch of people that are like, oh no, just go back to the first Supercross game, the way it felt. You got a lot of people that are like, oh, hell yeah, these new physics look really cool. You know, this new free whip look, being able to do backflips, all this stuff looks really cool. You're really going in the right direction. So it's just it's just all over the place, man. What it is people are just, they're so scared of change. They're so scared of Milestone actually putting something in and it being like different but good. You know, they can't really they can't compute that. It's just like, if it's not that standard first Supercross games feeling, then they're not going to like it, period. You know, there's a lot of Milestone fans out there that are like that. It's almost like they're the most deep level, deep Milestone fan you could ever have. And so they're almost so deep of a Milestone fan, so deep of the first Supercross game fan, that they can't even accept it being anything better or anything different or anything. You know, they're always going to say, just go back to the first Supercross game, regardless of how much Milestone's improving on this or that or whatever. But it's like, dude, the game's only going to get better if they go in there and free the whips up and make things more fluent, make things more realistic, actually being able to move and not feel like you're on this, you know, linear tightrope in the air and you can't even, like, you know, rotate up under the bike. I mean, it's just ridiculous. A modern-day motocross game being like that is just so unacceptable. But it's just funny, man. Like, and then now I come in here, actually be positive about something Milestone's doing, and then everybody's like, oh, no, those new physics are trash. Oh, no, dude, they're going in the wrong direction. Oh, no. Oh, man, cracks me up, bro. Donut, I'm with you 100% on this one, dog. The whole, like, what in the hell are these people thinking? They're finally improving on those air physics, what we've all been asking for this whole caboodle. And then people are going to, you know, hate on it and just go berserk about it. It's like, what? What? It just makes no sense. Like, dude, this is what we've wanted. Let's just see what they can do with the air physics. You ever think about that? And like I've said, it may not be just grade A, top A reflex level in the Supercross 3 game, but let them try to figure it out. Let them try to do something with it instead of just keeping this super bare bones basic physics system, linear tightrope, hit a button, play an animation every time you throw a whip. It's just like, you've got to advance from that. You have to. You have to. You can't just be like, just go back to the first Supercross game. Let's just keep it on the first Supercross game's physics. You can't do that. I'm just telling you. That's never going to work. They've been there and done that. It's done and over. They have got to improve. They have got to revamp and dig into their physics and try to make something. There ain't nothing that would make me happier if the Milestone games got so much better, and then the reflex, the MX vs. ADV games got more to the reflex level with their next game. That would make me so happy, dude. Like, a lot of you guys think I've got it in my head to just, I want Milestone to fail, or, you know, all this stuff. It's just so funny, dude. It cracks me up, bro. Like, there ain't nothing I want more than Milestone to make these improvements and make their games better. That's the whole reason I complain in the first place, you idiots. You got to understand that. See, when I'm complaining and criticizing and doing all that, it's not hating just to make the game fail or make the company fail. Think just a little deeper, guys. Come on now. The whole reason I'm going in here dedicating all this time to rant on all these individual features and everything about the problems that they've had in their games and all the little things that they're doing and exactly the issues I have with it and everything that they're doing, it's because I want them to improve and make their game better. That's literally the entire point. I want them to improve, make the game better, make it better for everybody, make it a better experience, make it more worth your money, and so that everybody's happy. That's the entire point. I want their games to succeed. That's what I want. That's the whole point. It's not like I just want to see them fail. That's why I'm in here hating on them. You know, some of you guys get those weird ideas in your head, and it just makes no sense. But either way, the Official Monceu Supercross 3 could be a pretty good game. Now, I know Milestone's got a history of making things seem a lot better than what they actually are. They do. But now at least you can say you finally have that little bit of difference in the sense of milestones with a different parent company. They're with the MX versus ATV parent company. And I don't know how much they've been able to take. I don't really know about all that, but it's quite obvious that they've been able to take some things from the MX versus ATV series. I don't know what exactly or how, but it's pretty obvious that they've done that at this point. So this is kind of their saving grace, in my opinion, is it's like, that's the one thing that, and even I said that in the very first early gameplay or early trailer video, Supercross 3. I said this in that video as well. It's like, the one thing that could make this be different than what you expect from a typical everyday milestone game is if it starts to get that MX versus ATV influence, and you can see that MX versus ATV THQ Nordic parent company influence in there, then you could really have something different than you expect in that every year, same old, same milestone thing. And that's seeming to be what it looks like in that new physics gameplay. So, I really do have pretty high hopes for this new Supercross game because it actually seems different than what they've been doing every year. It actually seems like they're, oh, wow, let's make our air physics, maybe free and not linear and, feeling like your rider's got to stick up his ass and you're stuck on this, linear non-rotation thing going on. It's insane. But like, oh, yeah, probably should actually make the air physics free. Yeah, it'd probably be a good idea, Milestone. 7 years later, probably be good. Yeah, probably. But at least they're finally doing it. That's all I can say. At least they're finally doing it. Then when the game comes out, we'll see how it is. But, it could be good, man. It really could. And this is the first time I've ever really sat down and been like, man, that new Milestone game could be actually pretty good. Because, like I say, every other Milestone game that I've seen early gameplay of, it's one of those things I've never went in there and, given my opinions on the early gameplay of, the first Supercross game or second Supercross game or whatever, and then it come out and be completely different than what I thought, or be oh my God, so much better now that I'm actually playing the game. It's so much better than I thought. That's never happened. I'm just telling you. All those opinions I had in those early gameplays, those other games, those early trailers and all that, it's all basically stayed the same. My opinions have basically stayed the same from the time I saw those early gameplays, from the time the game came out, the time I actually played it. I mean, I get it does become somewhat different when you actually get the controller in your hands, but it just hasn't really been all that different, with the Milestone games. So now I'm telling you, the Supercross 3 game has some potential. It looks quite a bit better physics-wise, which is the most important thing, the gameplay of the game. So, if they can get that more like it needs to be, that, everything else won't seem as bad. It'll make everything else feel better because the gameplay and the bike itself feels better. And that does seem to be the kind of road they seem to be going down. So I'm really excited about it. Got high hopes for it, guys. Really hoping that they can get it decent. But, when you go in there and, everybody was all getting overhyped about the first Supercross game before it came out, you could just see the negatives in it. You could see the small jumping, the no risk to coming up short or over jumping, the arcadey-looking whip, hit a button playing animation, that linear stick up the ass of the rider, linear horizontal frozen physics system in the air. You could see all that in the early gameplay of the first Supercross game. Some people are just so casual with motocross gaming, they don't understand those things. They don't understand. You can see the core of the physics in gameplay. You can see that, and they can't really adjust too much on that. From the time they show the early gameplay to the time the game comes out, that's just, you got to understand gaming. Physics is a deep thing to a game. It's deep-rooted. That's why we've seen the same old Milestone physics over and over and over again, because it's so deep-rooted in the way that their games play that it's like they're scared to change it. They're scared to really warp on it. They'll scratch on the top layer of it. They'll scratch on the surface of it, but they won't go any deeper than that with it. And that's why you still have, even to the most modern Milestone games, the most, Supercross 2 or whatever, you still have that basic error physics and no inertia and all that. That's why it's still like that, because they haven't dug deep enough down in their physics to revamp it, right? Whereas, if you go from Unleashed to Untamed to Reflex, each one of those games are total revamps of physics. They're totally different, dug down versions of physics. But if you go from, MXGP3 to the first Supercross game to Supercross 2, it's just not that different. It's really not. It's not that different. I'm just telling you, as far as the bike actually feels. But now, with Supercross 3, it finally seems like they are digging that shovel down to a point to where it's actually going to make a difference. You understand what I'm saying? It's actually going to feel like a difference in the gameplay versus just feeling like a reskinned game. So that's what I'm most excited about in the Supercross 3 game. But, we just got to wait and see. I know they're going to have some more gameplay stuff coming out on their Instagram. They still got to cover all the other topics on there. So we'll see what happens with that. But just wanted to come here and make a video just clarifying, if this doesn't prove to you that I'm not some, super milestone hater, I don't know what will. I mean, they changed something about their physics in a good way, and then I come out to here and tell you how good it is. It's like, what? If I was truly a milestone hater, I would never even have done that. Just think about it, dog. Just think about it. And if I was truly a milestone hater, I would have never said how good the milestone ground physics are, which I still think they could be better, but, I would have never even have said anything positive about the milestone ground physics, which I've always said positive things about the milestone ground physics, until they started kind of getting into MXGP Pro, and then you got that weird little slide-out bullshit vibe. But back in the days like MXGP 3, I was talking about how good the ground physics were, but it's when you really go in there and really have an opinion, and you're not just that, let me be a neutral YouTuber to keep all my subs, that everybody freaks out, and they're like, who's this guy? Who's this guy with a different opinion? That's what happened. He must be a hater. He must be a hater of these milestone game. Oh, we'll see how far I get in life and see how far you get in life.